Durban police are not playing. The police raided several apartment buildings in Durban, which resulted in an arrest of more than 100 alleged undocumented foreign nationals. It's been said that these buildings are hijacked buildings abandoned by their owners years ago. And foreigners in Johannesburg are building extra floors on top of flats in the CBD. Let's talk about it. Hello, hi, welcome to Entertainment's Galore, and this is your girl Missy. Please do like this video and subscribe to the channel. I think this is following the building that was on fire in Johannesburg, and I guess the Durban officials were like, let's hit the ground running. So this should have been done in Johannesburg a long time ago, considering that this is not the first building to be on fire. So I'm talking about the GP building that was on the news a few days ago, right? So it seems like the Durban police, or rather Durban police, seems to be doing more work than in Johannesburg. And I'm mainly naming these two cities because they're the ones that actually get most media attention. So several police officials were actually deployed, all right, into downtown Durban, right, which is the Point area by South Beach. This is where normally most of the foreign nationals reside, okay? So then they raided a few, or rather some, apartment buildings. This is when they actually found more than 100 alleged and undocumented foreign nationals, right? So I guess there's still more, because there's still going to be more raids that are actually going to be done. That's what the police commissioner did actually say. So it seems like the Durban police seems to be doing more work than in Johannesburg. And I'm naming these two cities because they get most of the media attention. So there were also some people trying to escape through the windows. How? I don't know, as they seem to be on the top floor of the apartment. So yeah, like I said, it seems as if they're going to be more raids to be done, or rather they did actually confirm, I think also the stores as well, around, because there's also stores that open like until late. So there's also like a questionable factor as well, that what are you selling after hours, even with like saloons as well, I think like up to midnight and stuff like that. And it's also been said that some were trying to get rid of some money, all right? So they threw money outside the windows in a currency of dollars. And you know what? We also need to take our hats off to the KZN Police Commissioner, Untatla Mkhwanazi, because he has been doing a whole lot of work down in Durban, right? If you've been on the news, you will notice that there has been like a lot of arrests. There has been also shootings between like police. Like there's been a lot, okay, and he has been actually in the center of it as well. So even when he speaks, he sounds very sound, and he sounds like he knows what he is doing and what he's talking about.
In this harbor, I'm sure we have seen in the past quite a number of drugs that we found from the containers. We are not searching all the containers. We wish we can search every single container that comes in. So there might be one or two of them that are finding its way into the city. Hence, we have this quite number of drugs that have been found when we are busy with operations. And you see the behavior of the youth also out there as they consume a lot of these drugs. So that's part of the problem that we have. The coastline in this province is quite long, and there's a lot of ships as we talk. There's at least no more than 10 that are on anchor outside there. Anything can happen in those ships there. So our prevention strategy is to try and protect whatever comes through the coast, come into our province, to try and do a lot of policing in that area. There's challenges, but if we can win that side, we believe that we can reduce quite a number of the drugs that we find in our city.
And this is not the first operation, and I think it begs the question: how many times are you going to do this before the problem is solved? It seems like, well, some of these will probably go to court. The reality is that some will be released, some will be deported. There'll be various charges that will be dropped. We see it all the time. But then we'll probably talk again next year, and we'll be back at these buildings. I mean, that is the reality, isn't it? Why is that?
Yeah, we're happy that the mayor has decided to join us here so that he can come and witness himself. Because our biggest problem as law enforcement is buildings like these that are not properly managed. The owners have abandoned the building, and other people decided to hijack the building, and they demarcated different flats inside, and they're renting them out. And there's illegal connection of electricity and the likes. So the evacuation of people that are innocently renting, it's another legal process that the city must embark upon. So we came into this specific building where we're standing in last year, and we found a lot of bad things and people and illegal connections and legal occupation of the building. But a year later, people are still in the same building, and we are finding the same things again. So it means we now must come here as the police, and I don't think it's a fair thing to do. So we'll request that authorities that have got powers to take control of such buildings to recover them from illegal occupation, and that will help us to slowly win the fight against crime, because we go building by building, and once we clean them back and we make sure that they are properly occupied and they're properly controlled, and people are paying rates as they're supposed to, and there's proper connection of electricity and water and lights, that will just assist in bringing the law and order in this city.
But General, don't you think we also need to, well, you also need to fix your station that operates in this area, because there have also been allegations in the past, maybe you might be able to shed some light on it, of how some of the local police officers tend to work with drug dealers that operate in this area. So seemingly if there's a police station here, they could also be working better, or do you think otherwise?
Look, we've arrested quite a number of police officers from this police station. We rotate them from time to time, but we continue arresting them and dismissing some of the members in this area. But sadly so, it's not only the police station that you will see it's bad. And generally, we're going to have bad apples amongst us. Some of the police officers might be driving from outside this policing area, and come here and do some wrong things, and they've got wrong connections. And it then is perceived as if it is the local police, whereas it's not. Any other police officer might come here and come and do wrong things. We working with our partners on security industry and amongst others in the city. They are helping us with camera networks that they are installing around the whole area. So we are able to monitor activities that are taking place. That's why we've been successful in terms of correcting our members that are found doing the wrong in the area. But community is always going to have that perception. This is a very same police station, and the members that are working hard in the very same police station that have given us quite a number of arrests, the recovery of drugs and arrest of undocumented persons and the likes. So it would be wrong to simply say that the local station members are the bad ones. They're not necessarily the bad ones. There might be one or two of them that are in cahoot with criminals. But a big number of our employees that are working in this police station have given us good results that we can show you on paper. That is the hard work that they are doing on a daily basis.
So what would be your request of the municipality? We touched on it earlier. You said that you were here last year, you're back here again. I mean, you are now with these officials. Is there any request coming from the SAPS and KZN to help you? Because you're already stretched with resources. You can't be doing this every day, it's obvious. So what will you be asking?
Yeah, well, the sooner they claim these buildings, the better. That's the start. The more cameras can help us on the streets here so that we can have a better control, be able to observe what's happening around the area. That will assist us. And really dealing with all these shops that we find here. There's a barber shop, there is a tuck shop of some sort, there is a chisanyama, there is all sorts of things that you find here. And all of these people that are renting these places, some of them are not necessarily renting the places because they are trading innocently. They are using them as fronts. They are dealing with bad things behind the counter, whereas they are portraying as if they are doing legitimate business. So if the city can really have strict measures in terms of the people that are renting these facilities, that will assist us because it attracts a lot of illegal activities, the majority of these shops that you find around here. So that's a start. And secondly, really the enforcement of people that are staying in these buildings. You're going to find a 2-bedroom that is rented from the owner, but there's 20 people that live in that place. So you'll find some of them are sleeping during the day, and during others are standing on the street corners. And at night time, those that are sleeping during the day, they're on the street corners, and at night, the others are sleeping. So those people are standing in the street corners, they tend to get involved with some illegal activities most of the time. Or even if they are not involved with anything, it just intimidates a tourist that walks around the street. because he finds these people that are just wandering around, have no purpose in the middle of the night. And you wonder, there's no shop that is regulated to close at a particular time. So why would you have a shop that is going to open until 10, 11 o'clock, a barber shop? Who's supposed to come and cut hair at that time? I'm not saying that I'm the one that must come with those rules, but if the city can help us and regulate the operating time. So we'll like, when the sun goes down, keep the shops that are really necessary to entertain the tourists that comes around, essential goods that might be needed by the community out there, such as, medical facilities and the likes. But to have a shop where you buy clothes, where you have a shop where you do your hair and the likes, that stays open in the middle of the night, it attracts unnecessary things. This is not a shopping center, this is the city. So it really creates a problem for us. So we'll plead with the city to help us with that. And also maybe the mayor, as we speak to, that will help us in increasing number of Metro Police officers that are employed by the city, so that they can help us to police them. Because if we can secure this area, then tourism is going to grow. But for us, we then can pay more attention on what's happening out there in the township. We always talk about the likes of Nanda and many other places. We have to focus there, while at the same time we must look after the tourists this side. So we get stretched out. So that becomes a problem for us.
Appreciate your time.
PC, we have a huge issue with the proliferation of illegal firearms in KwaZulu-Natal. Are you going to do any operations that are aimed solely at, making sure that you're cracking down on illegal firearms?
We deal with criminals. Criminals, some of them, they carry firearms, some of them, they carry knives, dangerous weapons, but we deal with criminals. A firearm issue is something that at the head office, from the ministry side, they're trying to assist us with in terms of reviewing the laws on the issuing of a farm license, the sales of firearms and ammunition, in order to have a better control on that. So for the police to go and sniff out firearms is not going to be an easy thing. There is no tracking device in these guns, so we cannot guess where the firearm is. But if we get to hear that someone has a firearm in their possession, our job is to go and locate that person. And once we locate that person, of course, if the firearm is illegal, we're going to arrest. But if the firearm is legal, we leave the person. If the firearm is not involved in any criminal activities, we leave it. It will be there. The second part, typical example yesterday, there was a attempt heist around Richmond. It is alleged that whilst the cash vehicle was driving, and the criminals came and shot at the vehicle, but they did not take any cash, but they disarmed them. So which means the criminals came and they stopped the security and they took firearms. So now they are more armed wherever they are from the firearms that were legal. Just yesterday morning the firearms were legal. Today the firearms are now illegal. Then you wonder where do they come from? They come from the people that have them legally. So the better control in terms of those that are issued with guns, that you can't be having a firearm and someone come and disarm you. You have a firearm for a purpose. So if a person comes to try and disarm you, you have to fight. So if you fight and you make sure that you defend yourself, it helps us, because if you surrender that firearm, you are arming these people to go and kill someone else. And while you are walking free and you say, no, nothing happened to me, it's fine, the farm is gone. So we hope we're going to be assisted at the ministry side with regard to the farm controls in that regard. But other than that, the police are going to continue, for instance, at Nanda last night or early hours this morning. I'm sure you're familiar with the notorious gang that always terrorizes in Nanda. 6 of them have been arrested this morning. Fortunately, they did not put out a fight this time. So 6 of them have been arrested with firearms recovered from them, and they're in custody as we speak. So we hope the community of that area, again, they're going to sleep peacefully, knowing that some of the bad guys are beyond bars. And we continue arresting. As we arrest them, we find illegal firearms. So that's how we're recovering guns as part of our strategy.
Yeah, so this is an extra floor which is on top of the building, which they actually build on top of the building.